I get this email. It says, you failed your drug test. I actually went to my wife and I showed her the thing. I said, check these oaks trying to scam me. She said, love, I think this is probably legit. I said, what?
You reached the pinnacle of CrossFit, but then it all came crashing down for you. You got suspended and basically stripped.
Yeah.
What happened?
And it's probably the worst day of my life. Like, to be called out on something that I can honestly say there was nothing in my system. Honestly, my world came crashing down that day. You know, the shit that does go on behind the scenes, you don't hear about it. I was completely shattered and finished. I didn't think I was going to finish the rest of the weekend.
I mean, surely that made you just want to walk away from CrossFit altogether.
I thought to myself, you know what, I've actually had enough. Like, I can't keep pushing myself. I got so demotivated. And then I think that's actually what started helping me get over it. Not over it, but help me get through it. You actually got to pick yourself up and like dust yourself off and say, you know what, like I am going to do it. I just kept going.
Jason Smith, welcome to the Blue Room.
Thanks for having me.
Only a pleasure. So, I mean, we've met a couple of years ago and we've kind of stayed in touch, but 4 times CrossFit Game athlete, 10 times Fittest in Africa, 2 men's health covers, father, husband, and then owner of CrossFit Kalami.
Yeah.
Quite a busy man.
Yeah, it has been busy. I mean, it's a lot of work to get through. It's a lot of work to do, especially when you're competing at that level. I mean, to juggle so many balls at once, you know, business, gym, family. But I think, yeah, it's just something I enjoy and it's something I'm passionate about. So it's just, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
So let's just jump in. Where are you originally from? Childhood, growing up, what sports did you play at school? Were you an academic, non-academic?
So yeah, always been a Joburg boy, born and raised. Started obviously school sports, and then played a lot of club soccer. You know, I think from the age of 7 or 6, started with club soccer. Then got into high school, started with rugby, and then that kind of phased out because out of school we used to race a lot of motocross, which we started when I was about 13, 12, 13. Got my first bike. And then, yeah, weekends were just busy, just all over the country, actually. We used to race regionals and nationals. So weekends were busy with racing motocross with myself and my brother. Obviously, a lot of friends you meet along the way. And, you know, time was spent on the bike pretty much every weekend. So school sports, you know, kind of phased out.
And then how did you get into CrossFit?
So yeah, it was in 2008, August. I'll never forget. It was the first time my brother convinced me to go to the CrossFit gym, his CrossFit gym. I was always busy in the gym, you know, the Virgin or the Planet Fitnesses. And yeah, he suggested come to a CrossFit class. And I thought, okay, let me give it a shot. And yeah, that was the day I started CrossFit.
The bug bit.
Yeah, the bug bit, and I was hooked.
So for those who don't know about CrossFit and, you know, we'll talk about Fittest in Africa or CrossFit Games, where's the kind of starting point and how do you get to that level? What's the sort of qualification criteria to get to CrossFit Games?
So yeah, I mean, over the years it's obviously changed, but initially you had basically your open. It's called the Open. It's a worldwide event which happens online. They release a workout. You do the workouts obviously at your local gym. You record it, you send it, or you post it online. The world gets broken up into different regions. So you get America, Africa, Asia, Australia, and it's obviously different regions it's within there. And then, yeah, enter your scores, and then the top athletes qualify for your next stage, which used to be called the regionals, which most of the time we got partnered up with Europe. So it's a very strong region. And then, yeah, I think the 40 top athletes qualified for there. And then obviously, I think it was the top 5 athletes from there eventually went to the games. So it was the Open, then regionals, and then games.
What was your highest ever finish at the Games?
At the games, I finished 10th in 2017.
Is that still the top South African?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Okay. And from a CrossFit perspective, you've obviously been in it a long time and you've seen the sport develop quite a lot. I joke about it, big respect for the sport, but it seems like it's a bit of a circus. And that's the
Definitely.
handstands and the parallettes and the pirouettes and all the rest.
Yeah.
Has CrossFit gone to a level that's maybe unachievable for someone new getting into, like me?
Yeah, no, I must be honest. Like I'm a huge supporter of CrossFit. I always have been. I mean, the philosophy and the way they started was incredible for any person to get into fitness or just to learn and adapt and whatnot. But like you say, over the years, CrossFit has, and this is probably the CrossFit Games side because there's two different sides. There's CrossFit and then CrossFit Games. I think the CrossFit Games has just gotten, like you say, it's just gotten like a circus. It's completely unrealistic for the average person to come into a gym and show them these things, these movements that, okay, one day maybe they might do it, or they walk in, they see these movements, and they're like, geez, like I'm never going to be able to do that, so I'd rather just leave. Um, but it's just gotten out of hand with the movements that they're doing. And I understand from their side why they've done it is probably because the CrossFit Games, you have the best athletes in the world, the 40 guys and the 40 ladies, whatever. But you're always trying to test them and you try and throw something new at them, something different, something they
Yeah.
haven't seen before, just to keep them on their toes. You can't do the same thing year after year after year. So they're always trying to change the goalposts. So I understand from their side, but it does, like I said, and you said it as well, it just, when you walk into a gym and you see these guys doing somersault muscle ups and reverse handstand walks up a stairs, and you're like, this is just crazy.
Unattainable.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
mean, there's always the chip and the banter between Hyroxers and CrossFitters,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of cross between. I mean, we know that CrossFitters don't usually like to run, so Hyrox, the 1 kilometer runs are a bit difficult, and I think that's where we're seeing a lot of CrossFitters coming across to Deadly Dozen because they're
Yeah.
running shorter. But then they also look at the weights and they're going, this is super light, but it's the reps that catch you.
Yeah.
CrossFit's hugely technical. I think that's why maybe Hyrox has become so popular. I think the
Yeah.
technical aspect of Hyrox, a lot of
Yeah.
the CrossFitters will liken it to basically a CrossFit workout
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in a way. Um, how have you adapted to and enjoyed moving across to Hyrox and training for it and racing it?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I've loved the philosophy of CrossFit. I think Hyrox has kind of brought like a new aspect of, okay, now you're going to run, you know, put those running shoes on and get onto the road. Um, it takes away the technicalities, like you said, of CrossFit. You don't have to do any weightlifting, nothing heavy.
No
For the
gymnastics.
there's no gymnastics involved. There's nothing tricky. Nothing's going to trip you up. It's all basic movements, which is actually how CrossFit started,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
And they're all, if you look at the movements, CrossFit does them as well all the time. So it's nothing different. It's nothing new. It's just got a lot more running, which I love. I mean, okay, I don't enjoy running. I'm probably not built for running. That's why I don't.
Yeah.
But I do it and I get it done, and I actually enjoy the challenge. If any challenge comes my way, I'm foot forward and I'm keen to do it.
Still haven't seen you at a Deadly Dozen yet.
But I'm so keen to get stuck in.
I
I mean,
think
it's
end of Jan, Africa Champs. I think we're going to pencil you
wow,
in.
definitely. I'm there.
Is it qualify for World Champs? There might be enough
Oh,
World
really? Oh,
Champs
perfect. Well, then
on
I'm
the
there.
horizon for
I better
you.
start training.
Me too. So getting back to from years of discipline and competing, you know that level of degree of control and discipline takes a huge emotional toll on you.
Hmm.
How did you stay always committed to the training and competing?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. I think and it's probably not for everyone, but I like to find a balance in my training and my lifestyle. Yes, I get to the gym super early. I'm at the gym probably 3:30 in the morning, but I have to because I don't have time after that. I've got kids to run to school. I've got a day job, which I still work. I own my business. Um, and then I train again in the afternoon before taking afternoon classes. Those are the two times that I train in the day. And then 5 days, 6 days a week, I'm training. And I do a lot at home with the kids. On the weekends, try to spend as much time as possible with them. But I think I have got a very good balance. The wife helps me a lot with everything. So it's not just me stuck in the gym training 7 hours a day. 7 days a week. It's not that at all. When I do get to the gym, it's quality training. Put my head down and I focus and I get done what I need to get done. And then yeah, I head home and it's making lunches for the kids, dropping them off at school. That's just what I do. And I've obviously found a routine over the years because
Yeah.
I've done it for so long that it just works.
So you coach you.
I coach me. I have since I started.
Do you not find that difficult? I think, I'm asking because, I've done that for a long time, and I just, when things are good, it's easy. But when things get a little bit difficult and life kind of takes over, having that self accountability sometimes, well, I struggle with it.
Yeah.
So, I'm definitely looking to find not only coaches, but people to hold me accountable in what
Yeah.
I need to do. I
Yeah.
think it's whether it's injuries or life kind of happens and bouncing back, it's hard to get motivated again. And I always say to people, there's no such thing as being motivated all the time. It's
Yeah.
about consistency.
For sure.
But when you feel, I had a conversation with someone the other day, when it feels like you're starting from square one again, because you know what it's like to be in shape and fit and at your peak.
For sure.
But I feel like I'm 10 rungs below that
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah.
How do you get yourself back to there without a coach?
I must be honest, it is difficult to stay motivated all the time. Like you say, getting someone to push you or hold you accountable. I've never had that. But I think I'm very headstrong, I'm very focused, and I'm very competitive. And I think it just drives me to be, I wouldn't say the best because I don't think I'm ever going to be the best CrossFit in the world. I mean, that was never my goal. I think my goal from when I did start in 2008 was to make the CrossFit Games. That was like my goal.
The pinnacle.
Because I knew once I got there, I knew I would be competitive with the guys. I wouldn't win, but just to be competitive. And that was my goal from when I started in 2008. And it took me, 2017 was when I first qualified. So call it 10 years. And it just, there was times during that 10 years that I thought to myself, you know what, I've actually had enough. Like, I can't keep pushing myself. I got so demotivated, especially after certain competitions. I didn't qualify. And it just, I mean, you actually got to pick yourself up and like dust yourself off and say, you know what, like I am going to do it. And I just kept going.
You're stubborn.
Yeah, I was stubborn, but also, like I said, headstrong. I was
Yeah.
determined and I'm very competitive. And I just knew that one day I would make it. And that's probably what just kept me driving.
And, did you ever lose touch with your emotional, spiritual health in that journey?
Yeah, I think sometimes you do a little bit, it wanders off and this and that. And, you kind of lose focus a little bit. But I think also, like you said, with so much going on, sometimes you just, when you're at the gym, it's gym time,
Yeah.
training time. When you're at home, it's family time. You're not thinking about this and that and going home. I could easily go home and put the previous year's CrossFit Games on and just watch that and be like, kids get away. And I could do
Yeah.
that very easily. But, focus on family, focus on the gym, focus on business that you have to do, focus on coaching people when you're taking classes. And yeah, you kind of find a routine, which I did.
When you got to the games, was there anyone that you found sort of intimidating, or did you just see yourself on the exact same level playing field?
When
Like,
I
does someone have an aura about them?
so when I got to you're talking about the games. When I got there in 2017, I had competed against a lot of the athletes already from previous competitions, Dubai champs. So in the beginning, yes, when I first saw them, I was a little bit intimidated. But I've competed against them before. I actually beat them in some competitions, some workouts at other competitions, and I just thought, when I got to the games in 2017, I was like, you know what? I'm actually one of the athletes. I am here. I've made it, and now I'm gonna do well. And yeah, I think to be honest, I did. I don't burst my bubble sometimes, but I actually did very well.
So, I mean, I know a lot about CrossFit, but I actually watched a really cool documentary on the plane coming back from Dubai about a month ago. And it gave me such a good understanding. It was right down to granular level at the games. It was the first time I realized that it wasn't about being the best athlete and winning. It was about being consistently good,
Yeah,
which was very, very, very interesting. And it was nice to also see all the personalities behind the scenes, how people come through, how people progress in the comp.
yeah,
So it's very different to, let's say, something that I'm used to from a fitness racing perspective. Vastly different. I'm not used to the technicalities. Um, Something like High Rocks is very linear racing.
Yeah,
It's everything's in a straight line
yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Whereas, CrossFit really tests you in a lot of ways.
for sure.
Was there ever a workout in CrossFit, locally or internationally, that really got you good?
Geez, I mean, there's so many comps. But I think one that comes to mind was where I was completely shattered and finished. I didn't think I was going to finish the rest of the weekend. It was actually in Dubai. The first time I competed, I think it was 2016. It was day number one, but I think it was the last workout of the day. And we went to a running track, and it was a 3-rounder. You had to row 500 meters for time, but then finish. It went from 1200-meter run around the track to a 800-meter to a 400-meter. But each round got timed, and your slowest time was your time.
Oh, wow.
And it's actually so cleverly put together that your row was for time, and then the whole workout was for time. But your slowest time was your time. So you had to. It was quite. You couldn't sprint the row, otherwise you'd be finished for the run. And then you had 2 more rounds after that. So you had to consistently hit your row time at a decent number that you wouldn't be last, but I mean, if you were first, that'd be great. But if you can run fast and keep up with your running, then it would be good. And I just remember that last round. I mean, your 400 meters, you are sprinting so hard. I think there was even a 3-tiered thing that the whole workout was for time. And yeah, you're just trying to get this thing done as quick as possible. And I think that workout actually killed a lot of oaks. It was quite scary.
So, I mean, you reached the pinnacle of CrossFit. Most athletes would dream to be in your position at that stage, but then it all came crashing down for you. You got suspended and basically stripped.
Yeah.
What happened? I've never asked you. We've known each other for.
No, no.
I don't know if you've spoken about it, but
I haven't. No. Yeah, first time. But yeah, it was quite a tough season or year for me. That whole year just didn't go right. I did the open. I got penalized left, right, and center from HQ. I sent multiple emails to them. I swore them out a few times because I was just like, give me a break. I got penalized on a few workouts. Then that year, I was actually going to do masters. It was actually one of my goals because I wasn't even interested that year to do individual. Things were going a little bit haywire with CrossFit and this and that. So that year, I think Rich Froning was actually thinking of doing the masters. So, and I think it was a 35 to 40 age group. So I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to qualify for masters. So I did the online qualifier, and I'll never forget that Saturday night we had a wedding in Dulstrom. So I do 2 or 3 workouts that day, and I shoot through to Dulstrom. No reception, no nothing. And I get an email, I think it was 12 o'clock at night. We came home from the wedding to say, you haven't submitted your videos. You off the leaderboard. And I lost my shit. Sent back an email. I saw them out again, and I said, just give me till tomorrow because I don't have reception, don't have my video. I'll do it by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Anyway, uploaded it. I got kicked off the leaderboard. Everyone was messaging me on the Sunday, where have you gone? What's happened? Anyway, I think they fixed it or resolved it that Sunday night or Monday. But I was just like left, right, and center. I just had shit from HQ, and I don't know why. Maybe it was my fault, but it just happened. And then I didn't qualify for Masters, so I thought, okay, let me just, I'm just going to leave it. I didn't want to do semis, which was individual, and qualify for the games. It just wasn't on my list to do of things. So I thought, okay, I'm done. And then time came for semis. We were going to, you had to register by a certain date, and I had members that had bought tickets to come and watch me. And I was like, guys, I actually don't want to compete this year. So they said, no, you have to. We bought tickets. And tickets then, I think, for the weekend was like $1,500 or something. So it wasn't cheap. And I was like, oh, shit, I actually feel a little bit bad. So I thought, okay, let me just register. I think it was 3 or 4 weeks before the comp. So I thought, okay, let me just register. I'll go compete. No expectations. I still had a few niggles injury-wise. And I thought, okay, let me just train. So anyway, I went to the comp, and lo and behold, I think I said to a lot of guys, I think experience got me through the weekend. It wasn't my fitness because I wasn't fit or strong at all. But experience, and like you said earlier, like it's consistency in the workouts, got me through the weekend, and I ended up first. And it was amazing. I was like, my God, I just qualified again. And I remember actually sitting in the testing room, and I said to a lot of guys, I said, just be careful what you're touching or drinking or eating because there was some mix up with the year prior with results and stuff. And I didn't hear exactly what had happened, but there were stories going all over the place. And I thought, okay, well, just make sure, guys. Anyway, did my tests, went home, and I knew, I mean, I can honestly say, honest to God, my results were zero. Like I should have, there was nothing in my system. Anyway, go home and I start training, preparing for the games. I think 3 weeks later, you get confirmation that you, as an individual, we started booking flights, accommodation. We did all fundraising things, whatnot. And I think it was 2 weeks before the games, I got an email. I'll never forget. I woke up, it was a Thursday morning. I wasn't coaching that morning, so I woke up at 5. I got an email at 5. I actually had a golf day that day. And I get this email. It says, it was, I think it was from CrossFit or CrossFit, whatever. And it said, you failed your drug test. And please submit videos, or it said, please submit payment or something to get your other other blood tests tested. And I actually went to my wife and I showed her the thing. I said, check these oaks trying to scam me. And she said, oh no, I can't believe it. So anyway, she looked at the thing. She said, love, I think this is probably legit. I said, what? She said, she looked at the number. And then when I was getting tested, Robin, my wife, was with me and she took photos of all the bottles, the numbers, because they had a mix up the year before. And she started looking at all the photos and she started tying them all up and it all correlated with each other. And I was like, you're fucking kidding me. And it's probably the worst day of my life, like to be called out on something that I honestly never believed in. I mean, I could be competing in CrossFit in 2008. I mean, I committed my life and my time, my passion to CrossFit. And then to get that, it was just, honestly, my world came crashing down that day. I had the shittest golf day ever. Played at Stain City. It was an amazing golf course. I just had such a shit day. And we try to get hold of everyone. CrossFit HQ, the guy, obviously by then you receive it in the morning and the guys are sleeping. So I couldn't speak to anyone. Like asking the guys, like, is this legit? Like, how does this happen? And how do you tell me 2 weeks before I'm leaving? I mean, I think this was 2 months after our local event. And you should, they say within 2-3 weeks, you should have results. Like, we'll let you know.
Mm.
And this is 2 months later and I'm getting told this. And I'm like, but how does this happen? We don't know. You must figure out why this stuff is in your system. I said, well, what is it? Like, can you please give me some sort of report? They said, no, you've got the thing. And apparently it was all in Russian. I didn't understand it. I sent it to, there were doctors here. We had an attorney looking at the results. I actually got hold of some people through the gym that I had that knew people that submitted drugs and steroids and stuff. So I said, can you just look at this and try give me an understanding? They couldn't even read the results. They didn't even know what it was, the supplement that I was taking. And yeah, to be honest, went through fucking 4 months of hell trying to figure out. I had meetings with WADA guys from their lab to say, like, can you help me with this? I don't know what it is. They said it was a metabolite of a testosterone, which means it's not testosterone, but it's a part of a testosterone. I had another meeting with a guy in America. He does a lot of testing. He said that your levels were so high. He says something went into your system that weekend, which was actually very scary because I don't know if someone either what do you call it?
Spiked.
Sparked my drink
Yeah.
or put something on my skin, or I mean, to be honest, I've never even thought of like, oh, geez, like, guys, seriously, like, you don't have to look after your bottle or like that shit just sounds like a
Mm.
fairy tale. But to be honest, I think shit does happen. And yeah, I mean, it was at the end of the day, I couldn't go anywhere. I even tried to phone the lab. I even asked CrossFit. I said, because what happened, they took my results and they took it to their lab in LA, which I found strange. I was like, geez, am I the only one they said, yeah, but most of them get tested locally, but yours has been taken to LA. I was like, okay, that's weird. So I said, okay, my urine sample's there. I said, please, I want my second sample tested, but I also want a DNA test, please. And they said, no, you're not allowed any access to samples or anything. I said, I'll pay for it. I'll get my own guy or doctor or whatever. I said, let him come and test it. They said, no, you're not allowed access to anything, which I find quite strange. I can't even get a DNA test that it was mine. And they just denied any helping me. And I was like, well, where do I go from here?
So I've never asked you about this, and we've known each other probably 2, 3 years now.
Yeah.
So I knew who you were before, and I've never been in CrossFit, but the first people that sponsored me from a supplement perspective love CrossFit, love you, they work well with you. They told me a story about it, and very reputable source. So that's what I've always believed. And they
Yeah.
just said that you got tested. You're very much made, because there was obviously doping in CrossFit at the time.
Yeah.
They made a non-American the scapegoat. They also, because they do their drug testing independently, it's not part of WADA,
No.
and they refused your B sample,
Yeah.
which I think's critical. Your B sample is basically where you're going to prove your innocence
Yeah.
or not,
100%.
which you never got that chance to do.
No.
So I think that's also why. So you've got obviously a suspension with CrossFit, but
Yeah.
because it's not WADA, it doesn't extend to other sports.
Yes. Yeah.
So I suppose when it comes down to supplementation, it could be in anything. You don't know what's getting mixed in labs.
Yeah.
There could be tainted samples. There could be a million different things.
Yeah.
It's, I suppose you're just maybe the unfortunate person. Only you'll know at the end of the day. There's probably always three sides to every story.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not someone that's going to commit their time and life to this. And then,
No.
when you're not even interested in competing.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, and I ask people, I'm like, I've qualified for the games 3 years prior to this. I worked my ass off since 2008 to do it, and I did it. I got tested so many different competitions. I was on the list of getting tested every 3 months. I mean, they can do it anytime, any day. Bring it. Like, I've competed for so long, went to the games. Like, I'd done it. There was no reason for me to even go to the games in 23. Like, I didn't even want to compete. I was like, but shit, I made it. Like,
Yeah.
whoop-de-doo. I will go again and I'll represent South Africa. And then for that to happen, it was like, why would I dope on almost the last year I want to compete? Like, what would make me do that?
Uh,
Let me quickly take something that I can beat everyone to go to the games again. Like, no, that was not even my goal.
I think the big thing is, I'm all for testing, but
Yeah.
with testing comes transparency. It's the
And
only way.
that's-
It's the only way you can do it.
Exactly. And that I didn't have.
Yeah.
It was such a matzah pudding. No one would help me. I tried to I actually spent, I think it was 30 grand. We spent, I remember the supplements I was taking that weekend. I couldn't even test my pre-workout because I wasn't taking any. I took Red Bulls actually because it was later in the day. So I don't take pre-workout later. Anyway, I take Red Bull but the supplement I was taking was a ZMA with Tribulus. And it was from Nutritech, and I thought I actually had the same tub because I stopped using it after that. I actually had the same tub from when I was competing, and I sent that overseas. It was the only supplement that I could send. I had other creams and gels and stuff. It was for inflammation, but I wasn't allowed liquids on the plane or whatever to transport. But I spent 30 grand sending that little tub to the States to get tested to see if there was anything that would pick up in my results or whatever.
I mean,
And it all came negative. I was like, well, where else do I go from here? What?
so you've never really actually got answers.
No, but how do you get an answer? Because even CrossFit came back and they said, you must figure out how this became in your system. I was like, I don't even know what it is. Like, even WADA, they were like, it's a metabolite of a testosterone. I said, yeah, but what is it? Like, if I drink or if I take a sweet, okay, you took that sweet. Like, it's going to show in the results that, like, I couldn't even get an answer. And where must I turn? Like, I had nowhere to go.
I mean, surely that made you just want to walk away from CrossFit altogether.
100%. And to this day, I will never support CrossFit games again. Like, if people ask me now, are you gonna? And it's 2028 until my ban is up, by the way.
Yeah.
And are you gonna do masters when your ban gets uplifted? Not a chance.
I think, I mean, I've got a similar thing we spoke off air earlier. So you're in love with the sport, but you got the shits with the federation.
100%. And like I said earlier, there's two different sides. There's CrossFit Games and there's CrossFit.
Yeah.
And that's what people ask me, like, with this happening, why didn't you just walk away from CrossFit you just have? And I honestly believe, like, CrossFit, the foundation, I really love. You know, philosophy and the training and the methodology, I really enjoy. But CrossFit Games side, they won't get another stitch from me. I won't support it. I won't go and compete at a competition, especially with CrossFit Games signs or anything. I just think, especially after that, the years that transpired, I mean, 2024, they lost an athlete. I think, you know, they actually don't give a shit about any athlete.
Well, I think it's a really important point. I've seen in some other fitness racing as well, where I believe it's not athlete centric, and
Yeah.
that I found so disappointing. So
Yeah.
the biggest passion May and I both have for Dirty Dozen is Jay, who created it. I just see him as being so athlete centric. Him and Yancy, who owns Deca Global,
Yeah.
they doing things together. They're competing each other. Jason will go and do high rocks. He'll do deadly. He'll do Deca.
Yeah.
He does all of it
Yeah.
because his passion is for fitness racing.
Yeah.
And I think these brands globally need to be very careful of what they do because
For
people
sure.
just turn their back on it. And we've seen
Yeah, I
what's
know.
happened with CrossFit.
Yeah.
And CrossFitters are the most passionate people about CrossFit you'll ever
Yeah,
meet
I
in
know.
your
I
life.
know.
Like, how do you know someone does CrossFit? Because they
I'll
told
tell
you.
you. Yeah, I know.
But that being said, it's we've got the rise of fitness racing now.
Mm.
Let's just get back to the suspension thing. I mean, I can only imagine what it must have felt like. I can empathize with it. Must put you into a massively dark headspace.
It was a hard time. Like I said, it was probably the darkest couple of months that we went through. I mean, my wife, like, she'll go into tears now. I mean, she tried so hard, you know, phoning people, and so many people reached out. I mean, from all over the world, actually. I had people from Australia, Europe, like, they couldn't believe what had happened. And the stories that actually came out from other athletes getting banned, also from around the world, it was actually quite scary that, you know, the shit that does go on behind the scenes, you don't hear about, or even to athletes. Like, and this is to everyone. They look at a Instagram post. Oh, Jason banned, caught with illegal substance. Like, cool. They read the headline and they go, Jason, you're an arsehole. Like, you cheated. Like,
Yeah.
that's you know, they label me, and that's the one thing that really got to me, because after doing this for so long, so many years, I'm the probably, and like I said, to God, put my hand on the Bible, I'm the cleanest, probably the cleanest athlete in CrossFit. Always have been. I'm an older guy. I lost a kidney. I can't mess around with too much shit. So for that to happen, I think just my world came crumbling down. And it was a hard time. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, there's nothing else I can do about it.
What were you fighting for? You weren't fighting for CrossFit. You're fighting for your reputation.
100%. It was my reputation. And honestly, like, I can do interviews like this every single day. You know, I can go onto the radio, I can go and plead my innocence, but people have already painted a picture after seeing what happened, after
Yeah.
the news broke. Like, people, and this is what my wife said as well, is that people that know me,
Yeah.
and they'll believe the truth.
Yeah.
People that don't give a shit and always want to see me fail or whatever,
You're not
you
going
know.
to change that.
No, I'll never change that. So let them have an opinion.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about that. So, you know, we came into 2024, not brushed it off. I mean, it was quite hard. It's still into 24. It was quite difficult to get over. You know, I would go out in public and I'd like almost feel embarrassed, and it was so hard. But, you know, over time, I went to competitions and I was like, geez, the first time I went to a comp was like, oh my God.
And you feel like everyone's staring at you.
Well, they did. Like, to be honest, everyone was like, there's Jason. And I think probably going there was probably a good thing, because I still had so many people come up to me wanting to take photos with me. Jason, you know, so nice to meet you. And I was like, you know, I knew a lot of people were like, good luck, you know, good, he must burn and this and that. And they obviously painted their thing. But I still think there is also a lot of people that still respect me and hold me in high regard for what I have done for CrossFit in South Africa. And then I think that's actually what started helping me get over it. Not over it, but help me get through it, with the support that the people that I had.
Well, I'll never forget, and May will attest to this. I had people come up to me in Planet Fitness in Potch
Yeah.
to come talk to me because I was racing high rocks with you. So that just shows where your sort of aura and level of what you've done for the
Yes.
sports
Yeah.
kind of extends to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not an emotional person, and everyone would attest to that. And the most emotional I've been in the last couple of years was when we raced together and I had to pull out because I didn't want to disappoint you.
Yeah.
So May was in
Don't
tears.
feel bad.
I was there. I'll never forget the first thing you come up to me after and said, "Don't feel bad, Cam, I got a PB." But you still
At
got
the end of the race,
disqualified
yeah, no.
because I wasn't with you, so you
It
got
was crazy,
disqualified.
yeah.
But yeah, it was a big disappointment for me personally, and I haven't actually really spoken to you since, just because I
No,
felt so
yeah.
embarrassed about it.
No, never,
And
man.
you've been through all of that, but I felt bad that you'd come down from Joburg, and I was really excited because you don't race with anyone.
No.
So I'd sort of conned you into
I'm like a lone.
lone wolf.
Yeah.
But I was racing with you. I was really excited for it. We had a very good chance of qualifying for World Champs, and
Yeah.
for me, it was something I really wanted to do because I have qualified for World Champs for high rocks before, and it got taken away from me.
Shit.
And I've been fighting for back and forth. Then it got given back to me 6 days before World Champs. I mean, who's going to get a visa and get conditioned in
No.
6 days? So basically, then they said, no, they'll defer it to Stockholm for this
Yeah.
year. Then I got told afterwards it's not happening. So that race was a big thing for me. It was a big proving
Like
point.
come back, yeah.
And I also knew racing next to you, we had an extremely good chance just
Yeah.
by lining up that we
Yes.
were going to qualify
Yeah.
for World Champs. So, getting injured and pulling out, I haven't really trained too much since. So hopefully this will reignite it.
Yeah,
I hope.
hopefully, yeah.
So just getting back to what you've been telling me now, and thank you for sharing that. But
No, of course.
like the public versus personal, do you feel like you've forgiven yourself? Not that you've done anything, but like you've obviously been very hard on yourself through the process.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you kind of second guess yourself. You say, like, I've done all this hard work. I've supported a sport and put so much time and effort, and then, just for it to be taken away, and then, everything you've like worked for has just gone. I mean, my honest goal when I started, yes, it was to make the CrossFit Games. But from then, or a little bit before, like I actually just wanted to increase the potential and the athletes that we have in South Africa, because we are such a sporty nation. I mean, we've got the highest caliber athletes in the world. I mean, our rugby team, our cricket team, not soccer so much.
Well,
but,
soccer now, we're qualified for.
oh,
Cup.
we are. We
Yep.
qualified, but I mean, we want to stand on the podium. But like you have, and also individuals, representing our country overseas. And I just thought CrossFit, we were a little bit too far behind compared to the rest of the world. I saw it. I went overseas so many times, and you just think, geez, like we should be on this level. And that was my honest goal. I was like, you know what? I went to local comps. I got stuck in. I helped people that wanted help or needed help. And yeah, and then it just gets taken away from you, and you're like, well, what have I done this all for? After 15 years of competing, it's just gone.
And your aspirations now outside of CrossFit. I'm sure you're a highly competitive person.
Yeah.
I think the nice thing what fitness racing gives us is now age groups.
Yeah.
Gives us older chaps an opportunity to still go compete at a high level.
Yeah.
Do you still want to go to a World Champs, let's say for a Deddy Dozen or a High Rocks? Is it something that you want to do?
Listen, High Rocks, I'm not built for the sport.
That's why I raced with you. I thought if there's one person that's not going to run away from me, it's you.
It's me, yeah.
And then you did. And then you did.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we started off hot. It was quite lucky, actually.
I didn't. You did.
I don't think High Rocks. To be honest, I do High Rocks because I see it as the next challenge.
Yeah.
Which I've done. I've actually done 3 races now individually. But I think, I'll do it, definitely do another one with a team.
Yeah.
And finish the race. I'm really keen on doing that.
You're going to give me another chance.
Of course. I mean, I'm keen.
I'm only going to get hold of you when I'm fit and in
When
shape
you're
again.
fit and healthy, then I promise you we can go. So that's I definitely want to do. I think qualifying for Worlds is maybe not on my bucket list, just because I don't, like I said, it's not my sport. It's
Yeah.
more a runner's sport. So for me to go overseas and compete against, the guys, the best in the world, I'm just going to be at the bottom. And I know that, but it's not my goal. I
Yeah.
think it's more a runner's sport, which I'm not. But Deadly Dozen, I'm definitely keen on. Like I saw you have that thing in Jan. I think it's World Champs or qualifiers, whatever. I'm definitely keen to have a race or have a go at a race.
Shorter runs, 400 meters in the last.
No, and that's honestly how I train. To be honest, when I train for high rocks, I think the most I do in a session is 400-meter runs at a time.
Yeah.
Or 500.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said.
I don't do like Ks at a time. Like
Yeah, I don't.
A girl at my gym. Sorry, a girl at my gym. She's a runner. I mean, she runs 25 plus Ks a day. She's just mad. But she asked me. She's like, "So how's the running going?" I said, "No, it's cool. It's like I'm doing some." And this is prep up to High Rocks race. She said, "How many Ks have you done this week?" I was like, 4, maybe 5. And that's, but like, I'm just, I can do the shorter runs. So I'm definitely keen on doing the Deadly Dozen.
Well, all the runners, they talk about long runs, like it sounds like a fun thing. To lug 95, 100 kilos around on the road it's not fun.
No.
I'd rather go pick up some weights and throw some weights.
Definitely. Like my wife asked me, like on a Sunday, "Do you want to go for a run?" And I'm like, "No. But give me a kettlebell. I'll swing it sometimes. I'll run to the boom and back, and then I'll do that 10 rounds, That I'll do. But just to get on the road and run, I'm like, nah, that's just not for me."
We touched on it earlier. How instrumental is Robin in your life?
Oh, huge. I mean, we high school sweethearts. So we met we met when I went standard 6. And we finally started dating in matric.
Took you some time there, buddy.
It didn't actually. I actually liked her from standard 6, and she looked at me and she was like, "Nah." So yeah, maybe I had to grow up a bit, but yeah, we finally started dating in matric. And then when was that? 2002. And she probably moved in when we finished matric. She moved in to stay with me. And
3 kids later.
And we've been together ever since. Got married in 2010, and then kids started to follow.
Any more kids on the horizon?
No, definitely not.
You've got a bit of a team going there. So tell me, what's the legacy you want to leave for your kids? Sort of principles you want to leave with them?
And it's so awesome is that my kids will always, like, they're at school and stuff, and they talk about me to their friends, and they're like, "My dad's the strongest in Africa and the fittest in Africa." And it's so awesome that they boast about me. I mean, I'm not one to talk or tell people like what I do and what I just say, yeah, I train. But, to hear them boast about me, it's such a warm feeling in my heart. Like, I don't do it for my kids. I do it probably for myself because I'm very competitive. But, it's a nice thing at the end of the day that, Dad owns a gym. He's done so well. He's excelled in Africa and become the #1 athlete. And that's what, hopefully I'll be remembered for, from my kids and going forward.
Well, my kids think I'm the strongest person in the world.
Oh, is it? So we must have a dad.
No. I think our kids shouldn't talk.
And I'm not the strongest in Africa. Now I'm gonna have all the guys trying to compete with me. No, I'm not. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
No, I think it's amazing. I've got the same thing with my kids as well. They really look up to you, see you on a pedestal, or put you on a pedestal.
Yeah.
I mean, my youngest Mace has done a Deadly Dozen with me. They did mixed doubles and potch together, and I carried
awesome.
little weights behind him and all the rest. So it's just that healthy lifestyle that they're kind of getting into. And they're actually racing again in Stellenbosch this weekend.
Oh, awesome.
May kind of gets the shits with him because every time the crowd roars, because he's only 6,
Yeah.
he kind of sprints away from her.
They get that burst of energy.
That's why I don't race them. I'm smart. But Jay, just in closing, I'd just like to say you are an inspiration to a lot of people.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I'd heard so much about you before we even met, and then we met and became mates, and then did a quarter race together. So as soon as I'm fit and healthy again, I'd love to.
No, for sure.
To run it back, and hopefully we get to see a Deadly Dozen.
No, definitely. We're going to chat after this.
Awesome.
For sure.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Short, man. Thanks for having me.